Joining us on the KOGO News Live line, infectious disease analyst Rick Heller. And Rick, a Yale physician said that it's possible that we could see cases decline with warmer weather, but is that true or is it a myth?
Well, there's good reason to say that. This is a highly infectious disease, so there's sort of a balance in there because even though moisture, which is what warm weather brings, and I'm not talking about rain, I'm just talking about it absorbs a lot more moisture into the air, particularly in an area close to the coast, that this is a benefit to us who do not want COVID. Conversely, the driest part of the year is the winter, and that is what, in fact, COVID likes if it wants to spread. And so we're in a better position right now. And with our 6-foot rule, with our shelter in place, and, slowly people paying attention to, possibly spreading or not wanting to be spread to, I think all these things will add up to a surprise, which is a good one. And that'll be far less cases and a little bit more comfort.
So what about a second wave? Because we're hearing about that. And, every year we go through flu season. So can we expect a COVID season? That's
the bad news. Flu and COVID, while they are very different viruses themselves, they're both viruses. And the way that they spread is a sick person. You can call it coughing and sneezing, but that's nothing. All they have to do is exhale, be in a crowd, and then in a dry environment, which is what happens in winter, particularly in commercial buildings, that then spreads not 6 feet, not 20 feet, but it can go 30 feet. These small particles, and I'm talking about not droplets, but these are, they're microscopic, 1 micron particles full of virus. These can travel, and they don't even act like gravity matters. They're almost like feathers. They're very low density, and they travel about in Brownian motion. They'll travel on air currents or whatever, and then you take one gulp. As far as a breath is concerned, you inhale, you're a well person, and now your body's got a fight to put up.
So the president said Thursday researchers were looking at the effects of disinfectants on the virus and wondered aloud if they could be injected into people, saying the virus does a tremendous number on the lungs, so it would be interesting to check that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not a professional in that area, but I'm kind of smiling because, obviously we would like to get rid of these things and we would like to cleanse the body, but talking about disinfectants and things like that bears no relation to biology and microbiology. We're a little more sensitive than putting caustic materials in our body to get rid of that. That'll get rid of human cells, too. But that's not a professional opinion. That's just sort of off the cuff.
So is it possible to get rid of COVID-19 once and for all? Is any chance that happens?
Well, the good news is that the actual virus is called SARS-CoV-2, and so SARS-CoV-1 we all remember from 2003, and it hit about 6 countries. It was jumped on very quickly. It was born around Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, and had a number of outbreaks. It wasn't nearly as contagious, but it was extinct by July. There was no cases, and have been no cases since, of SARS-CoV-1. We have had a cousin to that out in the Middle East. So that has stayed chronic, and yet it has not spread. It spread once to Korea. So, there is some feeling of hope that we can arrest this thing, but unfortunately its contagiousness keeps it moving around the human population in such a way that it just takes one, as we know from the beginnings of this, to turn into a full-blown epidemic or pandemic worldwide.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that a vaccine is going to have to be the cure or very good therapy, so we're not petrified by the possibility of getting it.
All right. Rick Heller, infectious disease analyst, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Be well.